one. It looks like Miles Bridges may be returning to the NBA rather soon. The Hornets and Miles Bridges, based on reports per Woj, is working on a deal to get an extension. The Hornets want to bring him back. He's very likely going to serve a suspension. So the idea is bring him back sooner rather than later so he can serve his suspension. If he doesn't play this year, he doesn't play this year. It's fine. You're back to the races next season. Also, if you're the Hornets, you're in play for Victor Wembanyama, right? And so the way you look at it is you get Miles Bridges, Victor Wembanyama, and LaMelo Ball for the next 7 to 10 years, you're probably winning a championship, or you're at least one of the best teams in the league if Victor Wembanyama turns out to be one of those players. But even if you don't get him, you get like a Scoot Henderson or one of the Thompson twins or something, you're still in a very good position, very good state, and you got a nice foundation for the future. But with Miles Bridges signing a deal with the Charlotte Hornets, this very, very likely means the Hornets are going to be sellers relatively soon with some of their players. One of the big reasons that they wanted to sell off some of their guys, Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier, even Kelly Oubre, PJ Washington, who was on the hook at one point for a potential trade. The reason the Hornets wanted to move those guys was because they got to pay Bridges, you got to pay LaMelo, right? Are you going to really max out PJ Washington? You already got Terry Rozier, you already got Gordon Hayward, and you're not a very good team. You're not a team that's even a playoff team, and you're one of the worst teams in the league. Do you really want to carry that team going forward? Even if you do land Victor Wembanyama, you would ideally like to have more flexibility than just be locked into all these guys for the next 4 years. And then you basically just wasted, 3-4 years of, Bridges, Ball, and Victor, and rather than making some sort of move. So that's where these guys become expendable, and that's where the Lakers could once again be in play. We know Charlotte has spoken with the Lakers in the past about working on some potential deals, and the Lakers could go several ways, right? The Lakers could try to go Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn, maybe go get a PJ Washington and a Kelly Oubre for a first. That is something that could help, right? Two guys that could knock down shots, sizable wings, could play both forward positions. These are the kind of guys that the Lakers really need. They also really showed out against the Lakers, when the Charlotte Hornets ended up beating the Lakers the other night. But again, two guys, very sizable, that could very well be pieces that the Charlotte Hornets would be willing to unload because they got to pay PJ Washington. And do they really want to pay him all that money where he would be a nice young piece for the future for the Lakers? Kelly Oubre, he's probably leaving at the end of the year anyway, so you might as well get something for him, get some assets for him. So maybe, again, you could give up a first if you're the Lakers, get these two guys in return. The other option would be the big deal, right? So you could take, obviously, Russell Westbrook, maybe go get Terry Rozier, Kelly Oubre, PJ Washington, give up a first, something like that, and then get a guy like, PJ Washington, who can be a solid, your power forward type player for the foreseeable future. You could go and get Kelly Oubre, who could be a solid wing for you. And then you could get Terry Rozier, who could just be a reliable scorer, a guy who could just go get a bucket, play on the ball, play off the ball. So that would be good next to LeBron James. Again, you could take Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn, and maybe go get like two pieces or go get Terry Rozier, something like that. Maybe you don't have to give up a first in that case because you're helping take on all his salary. Or what the Lakers could do, which might make the most sense if you're the Lakers, is take these three guys, Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn, Russell Westbrook, send all three to the Charlotte Hornets and take everybody. And that would probably be the best scenario for the Hornets. And also, you probably wouldn't have to give up any picks. Maybe you give a second just so the Hornets feel like they win or something, but you're very likely not giving up any first-round picks, which is good, because then you have those picks for the offseason. Say, Kyrie Irving does become available or something like that. And this would make all the sense in the world for the Charlotte Hornets. It's a reason why they wanted to unload these guys, and a deal that was discussed before, because again, they got to pay Bridges. They're going to have to pay LaMelo. You're going to go get, a Victor or a Scoot or something like that. You're going to get all these pieces, and wouldn't you want the financial flexibility? The Lakers are the only team that could provide that. So basically, what the Charlotte Hornets would be looking to do is kind of what the New York Knicks are trying to do right now with Cam Reddish. Hey, you want Cam Reddish, we'll take Evan Fournier and we'll just give you Cam Reddish. You like Cam Reddish? Hey, tell you what, take Evan Fournier. Instead of you giving us a pick for Cam Reddish, just unload his salary and take Evan Fournier and you could keep your assets. Maybe we'll even give you a second round pick in that type of deal. Well, the Charlotte Hornets could be looking at it the same way. Lakers, you're the only team in the league that can do this. Give us Russell Westbrook, Patrick Beverley, and Kendrick Nunn. Keep your first round picks. We're going to have you take Gordon Hayward, Kelly Oubre, and Terry Rozier, and we're just going to give you PJ Washington instead of giving a first. Because PJ Washington very likely could yield a first, right? There's teams that would probably give up a first round pick for PJ Washington. But especially Gordon Hayward, you'd probably have to give up at least a first, if not several, right? The Lakers would be taking on $150 million in cap space, but it's fine because there aren't really any free agents in the offseason, and you solve all of your problems. You get scoring, you get size, you get perimeter defense, you get a guy in Gordon Hayward. If he can stay healthy, he might be the best fit in the league next to LeBron James and Anthony Davis. A Swiss Army knife that you can run your offense through, that can knock down shots, that can get his own shot, that can pass, that can be a 25-5 guy. Problem is his injury history. But you'd be getting Kelly Oubre, PJ Washington, and Terry Rozier. So if Gordon Hayward does end up, missing time, or say, knock on wood, he ends up missing the season or something due to an injury, you're fine. You still have two sizable wings. You still have Terry Rozier. You still have LeBron James and Anthony Davis when he comes back. Not just that, but the Charlotte deal could really help the Lakers sort of weather this storm until Anthony Davis comes back. And it puts everybody into a natural order, right? So now you could, if you wanted to, you could go starting five of Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, Kelly Oubre, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, right? And then you'd still have PJ Washington, Walker, Reeves, Troy Brown, Thomas Bryant, all of those guys, right? You'd also, to be fair, you'd probably, if you're the Lakers, now, either A, you take on an extra $5 to $7 million, or you would give them Damian Jones and maybe Troy Brown if you wanted to. And that actually, the money's almost identical. The Lakers would actually be taking on $500,000 more, but $500,000 isn't a big deal. So basically, again, Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn, Russell Westbrook, you could give them Damian Jones and give them Troy Brown. Damian Jones, he has a player option next year, so he could opt in, but it's $2 million, so it's not a big deal. Lakers get all four of these guys, but you're taking on $150 million. And if you're the Hornets, that's a home run, right? Because think about it. You have, again, let's say you land Victor Wembanyama. You have Victor Wembanyama, LaMelo Ball, and Miles Bridges, and you have $100+ million in salary. Because you unloaded all of your, you have who else is on the roster, right? So now you're tanking. You're already one of the best tanking teams in the league. You're unloading anybody that can help you win games, and you're running with LaMelo Ball. Bridges is probably going to be out. You could even maybe sit LaMelo Ball if you needed to, right? All of a sudden, he's having an ankle problem or something, and boom, you sit him. It would be a huge home run for the Hornets. And it would be great for the Lakers, too, because now they get all these pieces. And your prize, your reasoning for getting and taking on all that salary is you get PJ Washington. And I know some people might look at it and go, well, if you're taking on that salary and all that stuff, you have to give up or get a first, right? The Knicks might even give a first to the Lakers for taking on Evan Fournier, right? But here's the difference. Cam Reddish is a big question mark. Where PJ Washington, he is more of a proven commodity. He's also still very young, so he's a piece for your future. And all four of these guys are legit players that could really help turn the Lakers franchise around, right? That's the difference. Evan Fournier, even if he does become Orlando Evan Fournier, it's not enough to really do much, right? But if you're basically taking all of the Hornets veteran players and PJ Washington, it's a fair deal. You're taking on $150 million in salary. You get to keep both your first round picks. Now you have these picks. So let's say in the offseason, Kyrie's I want to come to the Lakers. You could take, PJ Washington and 2 firsts and do like work out a sign and trade. Maybe you have to throw in, Gordon Hayward or whatever. But at that point, the Nets are probably rebuilding anyway. So, but you could do, PJ Washington and Gordon Hayward with 2 firsts. Gordon Hayward will only have a year left on his contract, so they just have to eat his salary for a year. But they get 2 firsts and they get a young PJ Washington, and the Lakers get Kyrie. But you'd still have, Kyrie, or maybe you give them, instead of PJ Washington, you give them Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, and, both first. So that way, if Kevin Durant wants to stay, at least they get something. You could work it out. You could work out a sign and trade, and you still have, now you have Kyrie, LeBron, and Anthony Davis with, Kelly Oubre. If you do have PJ Washington, whatever, right? You could make it work if you needed to. Otherwise, you got your team locked up, right? And some people might even say, like, well, you're going to lose Walker, right? But you're probably losing Walker anyway. Now, you could still sign Walker to the non-bird rights, so you could get him for $7.7 million. If he's not going to take that, you're probably not keeping him this offseason anyway. It's going to come down to Walker. Does he want to stay with the Lakers or does he want to go to another team? So if he wants to be a Laker, then he could just do what Bobby Portis did with the Bucks. Sign that, get the 2 years instead. Okay, cool. Now, boom. Now we take care of you on the back end. It's something you could do, and you'd have PJ Washington. You'd have Walker, Reeves, same thing. You could sign Reeves with your non-bird rights. So there you go. Or sorry, early bird rights. So there you go. Got him. So you can keep those guys. You still have Max Christie. Now you actually have like a nice young core for your future. You could even maybe take some of the other scraps if you wanted to and try to maybe go get, a Cam Reddish or something. But you got PJ Washington. You're probably good in that department. And everybody's still young enough. Like Rozier, Oubre, and Washington are still young enough to be vital pieces going forward. And then Gordon Hayward, if he can stay healthy, then that's a huge home run, right? So I do think that this is something that is potentially really good, right? Because the Lakers want Terry Rozier. The Hornets wanted the Lakers to take Gordon Hayward. Well, now we'll just take everybody. Give us Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier, PJ Washington, and Kelly Oubre. We're going to take Washington because we're taking on all this salary. We're keeping the first. We'll give you a second or something like that, or maybe 2, just so you feel like you won. And it's a win-win. Everybody wins. Lakers take on all that salary, but they get all the players and depth and actual role guys that they really need to try to make a playoff push and then maybe go deep into the playoffs. If it doesn't work out this year, at least you have a foundation for next season, rather than this turnout of just players that are coming in and out every season. Well, now you got stability. Now you got guys that you're going into a full training camp. Maybe you can actually win a championship and kind of make one last run with LeBron James and Anthony Davis before you start looking at, okay, LeBron's leaving, AD, what do you want to do there? And maybe this team is still good enough with AD. I mean, once LeBron's money falls off, maybe you could go get another piece. Gordon Hayward's money would fall off. And so now you could probably go get another guy to put around everyone. You never know. You could be really competitive for the next several years. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments section below. What do you think of this? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think, take on everybody? Let's do it. Keep the first. Get PJ Washington. Because at the end of the day, look, they're not just going to give PJ Washington away unless there's a reason for it. And the Lakers getting PJ Washington straight up, other teams would probably want PJ Washington. So what's the one thing that you can do that no other team can do? And that's basically clear all of the Hornets books. There's not another team in the league that can do that. So if you're the Lakers, that's your leverage play. That's your point of negotiation, right? Maybe this team over here will give you that, will give you a better, maybe they'll give you a first or 2 firsts. Sure. But you're still stuck with all of these salaries and you're still in the same position. So we'll give you all of that future flexibility and you're good to go, but we want PJ Washington in that deal. I think it's a win-win for everybody. But what do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below.